Hi, I'm Deb Harden, and I have Bluey with me. And of course, I have Tammy Freeman. And our special guest on For Your Information today is Ashley Blanton, who is Bluey's foster. And Bluey is kind of running free, so you may see her in my lap, or Tammy's lap, or Ashley's lap, or who knows who. But as you can tell, she's full of energy today, but she came to us via our local vets as she was a really sick pup. She had parvo. And Ashley is our, there we go. Ashley is our sort of our medical foster. She takes a lot of the sick or injured or the ones that have surgery. So when I called and I'm like, Ashley, I got this dog.
Well, you don't call first. You send me a picture.
Yeah, that's true. You have to work it. You have to work it.
Yes, that's what you do.
So, so Ashley was very kind and agreed to foster and take care of Bluey through her parvo and all. And as you can tell, we're all over that now. I say, yes, we are. And she's, I'm trying to remember how old she is right now. Do you remember right off?
Her paperwork said 5 months old.
5 months old.
Yeah.
So she's going to be a smaller little cattle dog here, but full of energy, super sweet, super smart. And she is ready for adoption now. So just in case anybody's interested, you can go to CliffordsArmyRescue.com and fill out an application. But Ashley, tell us sort of what you went through as far as fostering her when you first got her and that kind of thing.
Well, when I first got your call, I think we waited about a week after my commitment, just because she was still under vet care. And you were kind of just checking in on her day to day, but going ahead and getting her foster ready and prepared. But I know that when I went to get her, it was a Saturday, like lunchtime.
Yeah.
Kind of waited last minute so that if something was to happen, you know, she would be there. But I remember Dr. Martin saying that if she was not going to make it, I think we would have already been there.
Yeah.
And honestly, he said, I think she just needs to get out of this place.
Yeah, just get something where she can be.
And so I remember thinking, okay, well, then let's take her home and hope for the best. And had to syringe feed her that first night. And then the next morning, syringe fed her. But I think Dr. Martin hit the nail on the head with that, because that next night, she was getting into her food, and her personality started creeping out. She started coming out of her shell, and then, let's see, by Tuesday, she was cleaning her bowl, and her energy level was up. And then we started trying lots of different foods to see which one she liked. Them, you know, typical after that. But I think he was right. You know, she just needed to get out of the vet. She needed out of that stainless kennel, that cold feel, you know. She just needed a more home-like environment. You know, she just needed love, family, all of that. Like, oh gosh, that's the cord.
And you do not need to chew the night cord into. That would not be good.
But he was right about that. I mean, they had done all they could do, and she was ready for the next step.
Yeah. And you know, parvo treatment has come a long way now with the antibodies and all. It's not probably 100%, but I think the only ones we've lost have been some that we did not get till they were in really, really bad shape. So it has helped a lot. But we're
Of
gonna,
course, the sooner you get it.
the sooner you
better
get the
the
antibiotics.
chances.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we're gonna try. We're all three gonna try to be real quiet and show a little video here of how smart our little Bluey is. And that's Ashley's daughter
That is.
teaching Bluey to sit.
That is. She loves to get involved with the dogs. And, you know, if I can go ahead and get the dogs, especially puppies, exposed to kids, other dogs, cats, whatever it is, you know, I always want to take that chance. And Amelia loves working with them.
Yeah, she does. As I say, she's going to be our next
Yeah.
rescuer. And in
Yeah.
fact, I think in one of her little graduation things, she said,
Oh, yes.
she was going to be an animal.
A doggy rescuer.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So let's back up just a little bit. And how did you get involved in fostering and helping with rescues? I mean, you've done a lot of stuff with it.
Yes. Well, first of all, I groomed for a living, and I was fortunate enough to have a boarding facility. You know, so like paired with that. And I did help when you got involved with the Humane Society in the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I helped out with housing a dog named Louie, who then became a service dog. Had a little write-up about him in the paper. But that's honestly how I got my, I guess, feet wet. And after that story and seeing that transformation, I thought, man, I'd like to open, you know, that side of my kennel and my heart to doing more of this, because it was a need, and it was honestly a need that I didn't know was there. And I think a lot of people are probably oblivious. They're just not aware. Because I've told people, you know, they'll ask, well, what did you do for a living? And then I tell them, oh, I didn't even know something like that was here. And I'm like, well, it is. And it's very much a need for all kinds of things, fosters, volunteers, donations, whatever, you know. But yeah, and so that one incident, that one rescue just led to wanting to do another one, and just be involved. And so, yeah, I turned my boarding facility, which I used for the public, into rescue boarding. And that's very different.
Yeah, it is very different.
It's very different. But what I gained was a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, which has led me to enjoy being a medical foster.
Yeah.
Because seeing the rescues come in, they may come in healthy and then be carrying something that doesn't flourish until, you know, a couple months later. Well, we didn't know this was growing or this was brewing, and then she's at the door.
Oh, I want Bluey.
But then that's where you get a lot of medical fosters, because a lot of the rescues are not healthy.
That's
you
true.
know, that we get. They're not healthy.
And it is very much a learning process. I mean, you know, most of us grew up with dogs that were healthy and didn't see this side. I mean, I tell people, even back when I first got involved, I thought when they went to a shelter, it meant a shelter.
That they're fine now.
They're fine and they're taking care of them and all. And times have changed, but when we're talking so many years ago, well, like Louie. Louie was on the euthanasia list. He was fixing to be euthanized, and he turned out to be a service dog, and a wonderful service dog. You know, he would pick that. I can't even remember the gentleman's name now, but I know if he dropped his cane, he would pick the cane up, and he would help him from falling and stuff. So, I mean, it's amazing what they can do with.
And
with
I
the
remember
chickens.
Louie was a Great Dane
Catahoula. or something.
Catahoula mix, and so he would have been looked over for his size.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And so, but that being the very thing that made him so helpful
to the
in that situation.
Yep,
you know,
exactly.
being able to help hold somebody up or lean on somebody, you know,
Yeah.
that ended up being a plus
Yeah.
for that gentleman. Where's your toy, girl?
Yeah. So,
Need to redirect.
yeah, she took it off a minute
know.
ago, and I don't know where it went.
I don't know either.
But that being said, we all came up in a time when we're talking about Louie and I, we're probably 90% or more did not make it out at the
Right,
time.
right.
So it was a period of time when things started trying to make change and trying to help and, you know, to get more dogs out and all. And I know we fostered some at your place you had on South Post way back when to start with. But then you actually, you and your husband actually built, even though y'all aren't running it now, but you built
Yes.
Puppy Love for the whole purpose of dog rescue.
Yes, our focus shifted, our desire shifted. Like I said, seeing that need just kind of changed our goal, and we were able to, fortunate enough, to build a facility more fitting for rescue dogs. It actually held up to 75 dogs.
Yeah.
Now the goal was never to pack that out because that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to manage and give each care the one, you know, the care
What they
that they
need,
deserve
yeah.
and need. But we did have 75 kennels, and I mean, at times I had 20 cats, mama cats,
That's-
kittens.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot. But yeah, we that was gained a lot of knowledge doing that.
Yeah, yeah, and even when you finally sold that business, you, like I said, you stuck around and been a medical foster, which has been a blessing to us because you are experienced. And even though, you know, people want to do it a lot of times, it's a lot easier when you have somebody that knows sort of the ropes. Even with the surgeries, you know, you've had dogs that's had surgery. You've had a little bit of everything, I think. So
I have.
yeah, so that's always a plus. But I think, you know, I don't know if you have like a favorite story or a foster or a funny story or anything. I know we've had some, I've brought you some dogs, and I will admit this freely, that were, what do you say? I don't think there's any bad dogs, period, or. So we've had some of those, and I do remember we had a German Shepherd that liked me. I don't think he liked you too well, but they forgot to chip him at Boulevard. I think it was, and me and you were going to chip him, and you were asking, well, something about which one to do what, and I said, well, considering he likes me and not you, I need to hold and you need to chip. Because I don't think you want to hold.
Yes.
But, and he turned out to be, and I will say, he had his moments, but he ended up going up north to Jericho's Wish, and he actually was freaked out when we transported him. So he was nipping at Shalinda when she picked him up and all, and she's like, oh no, and I had to get Alicia to call her because Alicia's our expert on these dogs. And once he calmed down, the next video we got, there's a 13-year-old barking commands to him, and he's doing every bit of it. He
Yes.
passed away just very recently, so we lost Sam, but he ended up in the right place with the right people. But the kennel situation sometimes can be a little iffy for dogs, and which you learned real quick, you know.
It absolutely can.
Yeah, so different ones with different things. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more with Ashley and for your information.
Hi, I'm Tim Foster, your host for Bull and Bold Monthly right here on C19 TV. Get to know the coaches and student athletes of Cleveland Community College Athletics on Bull and Bold. We go in depth as we discuss cross country, track and field, volleyball, baseball, men and women's basketball, and softball. Catch Bull and Bold airing on C19 TV and online at c19.tv.
What's up, guys? Luke Combs here. North Carolina has a major problem with litter on our roadways. We all have to do our part to clean up this mess. And just remember, trash belongs in a can, not on our roads. Don't trash North Carolina.
We always have had
That's
a
true.
certain courtesy to other people upon their retirement or somebody's passing.
I got something nice to say about our retirement.
Well, we're not.
Good riddance.
I wish that
But I
you.
thought
First, he put giant flagpoles on the White House lawn like it was a Buc-ee's, and then he cemented over the Rose Garden. Then he turned the Oval Office into a place that looks like a New Orleans cat house.
Well, I'm sure President Obama evaluated both candidates and went with the best one, better one.
Yeah, one of
But
them
I
had a D
was-
by her name.
Well, one cannot help but wonder why. Betsy, one possibility would be that the Hurricanes are now afraid to enter the newly named Gulf of America while Trump's in the White House.
We're back for the second half of For Your Information, and we're laughing at Bluey. Bluey's having a good old time. But anyway, I'm going to go back to a time before we showed the pictures. I got a call one day, and the woman was so distressed, I pulled off the road like I remember it for some reason, the mall parking lot to talk to this lady, and she's like, I found this dog on the side of the road, and every bone in its body's showing. She said, I'm not even sure. She said, I think it's dying on me. And she kept on, and I said, well, she was so distraught and all too. I said, I told her where I was. I said, bring me the dog, and she did, and she was 100% right. That's how bad a shape this dog was in, and I immediately took the dog to Boulevard, and I promise you that if I hadn't had my hands on the body, I would have thought it was a dead carcass because of the way, no energy, couldn't move, and every bone in her body was showing. And so, of course, and this has been years ago, I called Ashley.
After you sent pictures.
After I sent pictures, yeah. So she, and Dr. I still remember Dr. Dixon seeing her, and he said, I just can't tell you. I don't know that she'll make it, but we'll give it a go. And I said, well, that's all we can do. And she did make it. And she's one of your foster fails. And we have a picture of Angel. I think, yeah, there you see Angel on the bottom. That was day one, her body. And then Angel, after she was healthy. Tell us a little bit about getting her in this condition and how you got her healthy and what all was done, and then why you became a foster fail.
Yeah. Well, the reason I became a foster fail with Angel was really she was determined not to leave me, to be honest with you. That dog, I remember you had an event at the fairgrounds and she was supposed to walk on stage and go, and she just would not leave my thigh. Like, she was just glued to me. But like you said, when she came so close to death, lethargic and sickly, that was one of the most difficult, probably, nursing back to health dogs that I have had, even to this day. She was a diabetic, ended up being diabetic, and learning, I've never been close to a diabetic, not a human.
Much less a dog.
So yeah. I didn't know anything about the glucose and the sugar and the levels and how to give the insulin. I didn't know any of that, so I had to learn it with Angel. And that was like a trial and error, and I had to learn just by watching her and knowing her behavior when levels might be a certain way. So I had to really get to know her on a more than just, oh, you need to go outside?
Yeah.
I had to really know her in a more personal way, I guess you would say. Even if it's just the look in her eyes, I could tell something was off. So that was a very deep relationship. I don't think I could have parted with her, even if she hadn't wanted. If she'd have been ready to leave me, I don't think I could have. We went through a lot together. There were times that she would crash, and I would have to jet to Boulevard, and Dr. Dixon was always so gracious to meet me or come by or just text and call and tell me try this and try that, and she would end up, coming back to where she needed to be. But learned a lot with Angel. And she lived very healthy. 3 years, I think, is what we got out of her. But she was already a senior when we got her. So we nursed a senior back to health that was on death's door, got her through diabetes
Yep.
and prescription food. I mean, we did the whole nine,
Yep.
but it was worth it. She did not know that she was well over 100 pounds there for a while. She would get right up in my chair and sit on my lap, and you know, it was just, she was attached to the family and especially to me. But I think when they're that bad, I think they know
Yeah.
who to be grateful to and for.
I think they do know when they get saved like that. I think we've all experienced that. And both of y'all know, because we've all done this, when they're that emaciated and all, you know, it's not just feed them in the morning, feed them at night. It's little meals and slowly getting them back to a normal pace. And then, like you said, then you had to deal with diabetes on top of that. So, hello, Angel. I know. Can I talk a little bit? We want you to get the center of attention, but we do need to talk a little bit, okay? But we all know, you know, the process it takes. And Angel had 3 really good years. You know,
Yes, she
she was
did.
very happy, very loved.
Yes.
And so for whatever happened to her that we'll never know in the past, you know, it was very much made up for by the care she got, you know. And then there's so many I could talk about, but this is another. This is one you still have. We're going to go to next. And I will say this: you and your daughter have an argument over who's the best dog in the house. Correct?
Constantly.
Constantly.
That's an ongoing
Argument. And Ashley supposedly shows favorites to Harper B.
100%.
And I'm going to freely admit, we saw this dog at the shelter, and use the very first picture up there of Harper B in the little cage. We did not know we had a pit bull.
No.
We thought we had some kind of little Chihuahua feist mix, you know. But we named her Twiggy to start with because she was so emaciated. And nails hanging way out, you know, she was just a mess. And anyway, so Harper, we got her pulled, and you ended up changing her name to Harper B after one of your teachers or something.
Yeah, my music teacher.
Yeah, so named
Got
after
her
a
the same
teacher.
day he passed.
Yeah. So in honor of the music teacher. And so Harper B has grown up there. Sage is still little in both of those pictures, but Sage is how old now?
16.
Phew, 16 years old. And
Harper's 11.
and Harper's 11 and still with us. And then we joked, come here, that's not yours.
I'll buy him a new one.
But anyway, so Harper B has grown up with your kids.
Yes.
And all. And Harper B is, Harper B at one time was considered a lab. When you went,
She was a
went camping.
Chihuahua, she was a lab, and she's a full-blooded pit, for real.
For real, yeah.
But yeah, we left lab mix on her paper so we could take her to all the parks.
Yeah.
And people would say, what's she? I'm like, no, she's a lab.
Yep, she's a lab.
Look, it's on our paper.
I got the
It's on the
paperwork to prove
paperwork
it.
right here says she's a lab. So she's become part of your family, and then the other part of that is y'all have another care dog that y'all foster failed, Reno, and that's Amelia's favorite dog, right?
Yes.
So that's the big debate, and we do have video of Amelia teaching manners and how
Yes.
to, so that Reno can be as good as.
Yes, because she doesn't like favoritism in the
Yes.
house at all.
Well, see, that's good.
Yeah, and I'm like, babe, it is what it is. You know? She doesn't accept it, but
Yeah, but it is something. I guess my next one that I really love to tell this story is Ajax.
yeah, I was thinking about him this morning getting ready, and honestly, Deb, I started tearing up. I don't know how this one will go.
Yeah. Well, we actually pulled Ajax for a rescue up north, and he stayed at Puppy Love. That's when you had the facility open. And talk about one that now Ajax would would fool you because he would sound so ferocious, and it's just according if you knew him or not, because if you knew him, you could still go right up there and say, stop that, and he would be fine. But anyway, the rescue took him up north, and then lo and behold, they sent him back for a while because they pulled other dogs, and they sent him to another kennel. You found out, and you went and got him.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. You know, Ajax and I, we didn't start off best friends. You know, he kind of, the day he came straight out of animal control, back to that kennel experience, and the attitude they leave a kennel with is not who they truly are. But he came out of animal control with a chip on his shoulder and a guard. He really did. And so when I met him, we had to just have this deal. I'll meet your needs and you don't fuss at me and we'll be fine. And we lived like that for about 3 or 4 months. Until one day he came back in from running around the yard and he just started doing circles around me, like happy as he could be, like zoomies.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? This is a side I've never seen. So I was like, I wonder if he'll let me love on him now. So I started petting on him. I shut that kennel door, sat on the floor, and we just made out for 15, 20 minutes. And I thought, whatever it was, this is the day he decided to drop it.
Yeah.
And he accepted me. And so after that, we were great. And he was like my best friend at Puppy Love.
Yeah.
And I had him for a long time because of, I think, the information that they had gotten about him being a little selective. So, you know, you're not in a hurry to get that dog up there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a special situation. So I had him a while, and then he did transport, which was hard. I called you that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was hard for me to let him go. And yeah, I had heard completely randomly that he had made it back to a local shelter. And I was not okay with that. So I just took myself to that local shelter and I said, I'm here to pick up Ajax. I said, he's got one blue eye, one brown eye. He's a shepherd mix. And I'm Ashley Blanton from Puppy Love. And they were like, okay, he's not very friendly. And I said, can you just go get him.
Go get him.
Just go get him. And you know what? I even had the thought, you know what? Maybe he'll maul me. Maybe he won't remember, but we're just going to see what happens. And so she opened up that kennel door and he saw me. And I'm telling you, if we could have done it in slow-mo, it would have just been the most beautiful thing ever. But yeah, we just reunited, and the closest house to that kennel was my parents, and they had a fenced-in backyard. So I ran him over to my parents and just turned him loose, and we just spent an hour catching back up and loving on each other, and we've just, that dog is so special to me. I can't, he just has my back.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He would risk his life for my family. When that gate is shut at night and he gets to finally run outside, he checks all corners of our property. Like, all right, all is well. I am on, I mean, he is just, and he loves my family. He loves the kids. He is a special boy, but it does take him a while to drop his guard. But if he decides to let you in, that's it. It's a ride or die.
Yeah, it is.
And if you have the time, the patience to work with a dog like that, it's worth it.
Every bit of it.
It's worth every bit of it. And I know that not everybody can.
Yeah.
I was forced in the situation, but
it was what was right.
It is. And even now, my husband will say, I want another one like Ajax.
Yep.
You know, and he knows it might not be easy the first 4, 5, 6 months, but it's worth it.
In the long run.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Well, time flies when you're talking about all these wonderful stories. So we're going to wrap up this edition of For Your Information, and we're going to have to buy Tim a new ornament thing.
I'll go to Hobby Lobby.
We're going to send Ashley to fix what Bluey has torn up here. But we are glad you joined us, and we'll see you on the next edition of For Your Information.